first of all acknowledge the hard work, the commitment, the perseverance that they've gone through. It's not so easy to be leaders. All these people are today going to share with us all those lovely lessons they've picked up during their journey. I must say they're all trailblazers because women have to brave the odds, first of all, convince their families, balance so many things. And today, all these people are the hope we have. Why do I call them the hope we have? Whenever we talk of the artificial intelligence era, the industrial era brought out a lot of skilled workers. What is this era of artificial intelligence going to produce? This is a very important question for us educators. And the answer is we are going to produce a generation of useless people. Seriously, useless people, because what they know will not be useful for us, and what is required they do not know. I'm sure all of us agree. And that's why I call these ladies the hope. They're trying to break from the trodden path, and then they've started creating their own paths. It takes a lot of courage to do that. I see every woman here as a very big revolutionary, doing something that is not done before is a challenge. So let's listen to these inspiring women today. And before that, I would like to introduce them to the audience. I would like to introduce, in no order, with due respect to every woman here. I will have to start with someone. So I would like to take, a disclaimer, right? I would like to introduce Dr. Sheetal Jetty, the founder of Chuck Academy, a very distinguished educationist with 18 years of experience in our sector. She's empowered more than 25,000 individuals. And you don't look that. And she is into a lot of teacher training. She envisions inspiring and empowering educators. And she is that catalyst for positive change. And she's been inspiring not just teachers. After speaking to her, I've become her fan for seriously touching upon a very, very untapped area of education, working with special children. We call them special, but we don't treat them as special. She's doing that wonderful job of making them truly special. More importantly, working with those mothers who are the victims because they have special children. Don't you think this is one great service to the mankind? We're elated to be introducing you to the gathering, Sheetal. I now have Miss Sandhya Gatti. To tell you about Sandhya Gatti, I have to tell you about how our teachers are being blamed by everybody across. If the teachers were good, children would do better. These teachers don't know how to teach. All the time, my heart bleeds whenever I see people blaming my teachers. And what are they doing? They're doing exactly what others did to them in the classrooms. They're victims of the system. Now, how do we help them come out of this? Only by empowering them, only by empathizing with them, only by giving them that love and confidence that they can change. None other than Sandhya Gatti is working in this field of meaningful empowerment of teachers. She is a teacher educator who's been in this space for 3 decades or more. She's contributing in her own field, not just teaching them preaching, but she's also researching. She's bringing in the best of the research practices, disseminating those things. She's designed over 100 research-based teacher professional development modules. 100. Is it that easy? I know as a trainer to design one, it really takes so much time and effort. She's a passionate teacher, educator, and I'm equally honored to be, sharing the stage with you, Ms. Sandhya Gatti. I must tell you about Ekalavya. Dronacharya asked his student for his thumb. Do you all agree? Was that fair? Was that fair? Not fair. But then, my question to all of you is, Dronacharya had promised Arjuna that he would make him the best archer in the world. But when he saw Ekalavya, please remember, he didn't give any formative, summative assessment to find out who was better. Do you agree? How did he find out how Ekalavya was better than Arjuna? It's very interesting. When there was a dog barking in the night or it was disturbing, Ekalavya set a volley of arrows. No? Big number of arrows together which went and stuffed the mouth of the dog. Please remember, it didn't kill the dog. It just silenced the dog from a distance. And there Dronacharya knew that this was a great archer who could silence the dog without harming it. There's a lot of science in it. And then he decided that he was the best archer. And now tell me, without a guru, if Ekalavya was able to do that, Ekalavya knew how to assess. And Ekalavya knew how children learn, how students learn. Here we have another person who knows how students learn. And she's giving them the space to learn their own way. And this is none other than Preeti Vikram, the founder of Tapas Academy. No? Now, if people have to remember Tapas, they have to know the story. It's only the story that will make them empathize with the cause of setting up a school. There are millions of schools across the world, but why do some become very, very accomplished, outstanding ones? Because the vision behind finding the schools is more important than the infrastructure. And Preeti Vikram is a very committed educator who is an exponent of learning through play. She's also an alumna of IMB. She's pursuing her PhD in school leadership. She's also an entrepreneur, being the franchisee for the very renowned Podar Jumbo Kids in Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. So, very honored to be having you here, Preeti. Dr. Vijaya Saraswati. She's a very intelligent, God-gifted brain. She has magic. Some of us have already seen how she's different and she's so spontaneous. She is the founder of Vijaya's International Brain Rich Systems. She's the Pro-Vice Chancellor of St. Mother Teresa University, Managing Director at Hopeful International LLC. She is the author of 4 books. And then she is also an entrepreneur. She's encouraging entrepreneurship. Above all, what I love her for when I spoke to her is, she is preparing people to handle failure. Isn't that amazing? I think the much required life skill of which Vijaya is doing. We are honored to be having you here, Vijaya. Thank you. We have equally accomplished people here. I'm feeling so honored to be even talking about these people because they've done so much in this field. Dr. Manjula Raman, a very distinguished educator, a visionary leader for more than 3 decades. She is nominated for the prestigious Padma Shri Award in Literature and Education, and she's received the President Award twice for her exceptional contributions in the field. And she's also a resource person for leadership programs, collaborates with institutions like CBSE, TERI, Oxford University Press, and many more. She's the founder of Anubhuti Foundation and Anubhuti Bal Bhavan. She is leading a social enterprise, which is an initiative for underprivileged. She also holds the position of the Director of Academics at Sherwood High School in Bangalore. We are honored to be having you here, ma'am. We have the next accomplished woman here, the founder of the Green School Bangalore, Usha Iyer. She has made significant contributions in the broader educational community. See, it's very easy to sell transformational ideas. We can all dream of many. But I tell you, to go into the school and convince every stakeholder to buy in that idea is not that easy. Green schools, when we are all talking of the crisis, the energy crisis, the global crisis, a lot of these things, she's one person who's not talking about it, but working in that field. So she, in her school, has been working towards sustainability, energy conservation, not just saving energy, but preparing children who believe that they can go and make a difference to the world. It's an honor to be having you here, ma'am. Thank you. With the brief introduction of all these beautiful ladies, I would like to go to the first round of the questions. So my first question is for Dr. Sheetal Jetty. Your question, ma'am. Can you have the mic, please? A lot of talk is happening about inclusivity in schools. We're all saying we are inclusive schools. But please tell us, it's not that easy, right, to bring inclusivity. So can you please tell us what and how should we do what we do? Not just to allow these children to get enrolled in schools, but also to harness the talent in every special child. Not enrollment, but harnessing the talent. And how can the pressure on mothers and teachers be eased, especially when they do not know how to help, but they really want to help?
Firstly, thank you so much. Firstly, thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. I'm like overwhelmed. And this topic definitely is close to my heart with my own son being a special needs child. We're talking about inclusion, of course, and I think you all would agree that we are talking about inclusion because there is an exclusion.
Yes.
Right? We exclude and then we plan to include, right? Which makes the process of learning, unlearning, learning, unlearning, take them out, bring them in, take them out, bring them in. So who decides this? Do we decide this? That they have to be excluded. So challenges comes from the first step of thought that we are excluding them and then trying to build them in. Inclusivity is not just a philosophy. It's a practice. It's like it should be in our blood, right? As there is another person who is sitting next to you, a child with special need is as important as a typical child. So we just term them as neurodivergent just because they think differently, right? And just because they think differently, I don't think they should be excluded. Do you think they should be excluded? No, right? So just because they think differently, they should be all the more welcome into the system, that there is another set of storm which comes in and gives us a bounce, telling that, okay, there's something else also which you all should think about, think out of the box. Don't just brain budget. Budget your brains and think in a routine. Think something which is out of the routine. Think something which can be done for everyone, putting them together. So I think the concept of exclusion itself should be taken out. I think that's the first thing. When I come back to seeing mothers, of course, the first people who get affected when a child is diagnosed with something which is diverse from the normal way of development, probably a little hatke, So that's where the mums are kind of the one who are the most affected. You know why? Because there is exclusion. Right? They know that, okay, my child will not be fitting in. Right? But is there a system which is being set? And because there is no system which is being set, the mums are the ones who are the most affected, kind of thing. Right? So how do we bring that back? So it starts from the family. So how many of you have seen that the dads contribute as much as the mums? They help the moms, right? So I would request that every family should have equal contributors to the child who is there needing a little more support, because we all know that this child will need a little more support in terms of a neurotypical child. I think it should start from the family. Once they go out, to the school, which is a new environment, a little new environment from the school environment, from the house environment, I think there every individual also should contribute, including the drivers of the van, including the DDs who are there, including the support staff, including the teachers and the principals as well. I think the moment this comes into place, I think automatically exclusion goes away, inclusivity comes in.
Thank you so much for that, Sheetal. The bottom line here is, as school leaders, what we speak is what is going to be followed by others. So you can make a change. Thank you for that. My next question is about teacher education. We've done some big damage. We now want to repair the damage. But we don't know how to do the damage repair. And the big question whenever we go to schools and ask, please train teachers. What if we train teachers and they leave our schools? Is it a familiar statement? Yes. My question is, what if you don't train the teachers and they stay with the school? Equally dangerous. Now let's listen, let's listen to Miss Sandhya Gatti. From her, I would love to know, how should teacher trainings be? And please don't tell me this fly-by-night operation, one-day training will help our teachers transform. They can just feel exhilarated, but next morning they go back to the class. They don't know what to do. Please tell us, how do we help teachers really take these practices into the classroom?
Thank you, Savita. Good question. And I think one thing we must remember is there are these fancy schools with fancy resources, then there are children. And then what's the bridge between the two? What is the use of having fancy classrooms when the teachers do not know how to leverage it, how to make it useful, how to make it a part of children's, everyday academic work in the school? And I completely agree. Most of the schools do teacher training as something that needs to be checked, either in the beginning of the year or end of the year, and there is probably a budget associated with it. And I'm not sure, because whenever I go to train teachers, I'm constantly told we don't have the budget. So, yeah, it's okay. You don't need it, to be honest. My solutions are very simple, and I've done this fly-by-night training like zillions of times. I've done it in Meghalaya. I've trained school leaders and teachers, I think 5,000 in number. I have no idea what they're doing today. I have no idea what's happening in the classroom, because what happens is, while they see meaning, they find it useful, they know they can take it back, and there are teachers who feel, yes, this is what we need to do in schools, in our classroom. But what they go back to is a system that is already set, it's rigid, new ideas may not be welcome. And I'm not talking about fancy schools. I'm not talking about schools where, already the management is aware and they know that teacher education is important. But in all the regular schools that we see. So for me, I really had to think hard and long about how do we get teachers to buy this act. Also, it's not only the management, the teachers themselves think that professional development is the responsibility of the school management. If I have to learn something, then the management must pay for it. Right? This is something that I have noticed. And then there are all these biases in the school. Kisko milna chahiye? Who should get it? Who shouldn't? Who should be part of it? Also, there's another problem that when these workshops are held, it's not on the basis of what teachers need, but how many times I've asked, okay, tell me, what are the areas in which you need training in? And I'm told, oh, you choose. And I have to think, okay, what do you think teachers need? I have to think for everybody. And that's hard. Because I would rather have people telling me that in my school, the teachers struggle with assessment or classroom management. So how can you do something that is, that will help them in these areas of concern? So like I said, long and hard days and nights, you keep thinking of how to help teachers. And then I realized the solution is very, very simple. It's unbelievably simple. If you notice how our schools and teachers work, they work in isolation. Every school is an island because they're all busy competing against each other. I can say whatever I want today, no? I don't give a damn, honestly. That's one, because they're busy. I have to get better than that. School, I have to have more facilities than the other school next door. That's one thing. Within the schools, the teachers are silos. They all work as, this is my class, my lesson plan, my children, and I dare not share my idea with somebody else. Right? Because usko credit mil gaya, to where do I stand? So what I feel is, break those barriers, get conversations going. And I'm doing my PhD in conversations for professional development. So I'm very, very inspired by Vivian Robinson. She's an Australian educator who talks about open to learning conversations for leaders. And I thought, why leaders? There must be open to learning conversations for teachers. So unless schools make professional development as not an event to be held twice a year or thrice a year, but an ongoing process, that should happen every day, every week. There must be spaces within school timetables and schedule for this conversation to happen, this collaboration to happen. That's what I've been doing in the schools I have worked with, where you set up processes and then you see. Initially you'll think, I don't know what I'm doing. But then slowly, teacher's language changes. The way she looks at children changes. Perception changes. You talked about inclusivity and what is a special child? I have special needs. Many of them. All of us have special needs. All of us are special. There is no difference. The world does not divide people, like that. The world is interdisciplinary. There is no math. There is no world of math and world of language. Everything is together. So, to open minds, you need knowledge, skills, and dispositions. These are the three areas in which teachers need work. We have to begin with dispositions. Then the knowledge will come, and like our teachers, frankly, wherever I've gone and asked them, okay, what is the theory you're practicing within your classroom? They all look up. Theory? Oh, we do Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, what is it? What are the levels of? Oh, we don't know. So jargons are being spoofed, critical thinking. People keep saying, creativity, collaboration, but where is it? It is like, if I don't know how to dance, I can't teach you how to dance. So it is like that. If teachers do not know how to think, how to gather knowledge, how to learn on your own, it is not possible to teach that to children. So I would say, open up conversations, set up processes, I can help you, set up processes where you... Yeah, you have to do a little bit of that, isn't it? So, create a process within the school. I think leaders, it is very important. We have serious problem with teachers today. And not as people, they're lovely people outside the classroom. But inside the classroom, there is a serious issue. They don't know their children very well. They say they know. They all love children. They're all working hard.
Sandhya, I'll have to interrupt you.
Yeah. But we need to ensure that teachers actually start from a place of knowing. Actually knowing what they're doing in the classroom. That what is the impact that they have in the classroom, and make it more measurable. Thank you very much.
We'll come back to you. We want to listen to you more. Please pass the mic to Ms. Preeti. A lot is pushed down the throat of children in the name of education, whether they like it or not, whether they are capable or not. Now, Preeti, can you please share with us what is the way children learn at Tapas or even otherwise, and why they should be given the choice and voice to choose the agency of learning?
First of all, I'd like to begin with a disclaimer. my sitting like this has nothing to do with Dronacharya or Eklavya. I'm just short and my feet don't reach the floor. So I have to sit cross-legged like this. Thank you so much for the question, and I had a wonderful conversation with Dr. Savita when we spoke about what I would give my life for. That's the question she asked me. Tapas is created on the premise that children are, the child when they come to school is somebody on that day. They have an identity, they have a way of thinking, they are not clean slates like we believe them to be. They already have neural pathways, they have personalities at 6 months old, 1 year old, whatever it is. So the premise that the child is somebody when they come to school is foremost at Tapas. Now, if I'm not writing on a clean slate, what am I doing? As a school, the idea is that we provide them with opportunities to learn. The how to learn, not the what to learn. And these are jargons, like all of us talk about all these jargons all the time. Whether it's inclusivity or with teacher training, when we look at it from the lens of what's right for the child, the whole narrative changes. How we learn at Tapas, and when I say we, it's the adults and the learners, we learn together. We start with a problem statement and we say, in order to understand this problem better, what do I need to know? So all of you have done the KWL charts, you know what they are. If not, you should look up. What do I already know? And that's where we understand where the child is. Then what do I want to know in order to solve that problem? And that is the knowledge input part, where the facilitator brings in knowledge through different mediums. And then at the end of the month, what have I learned? And that's month, project, whatever. What have I learned? So that's the K, W and L. So this is a simple way of how we look at solving that particular problem statement. Now our students don't have a science period, a chemistry, physics, biology period, or a social sciences period, or math separately, etc., etc. It's all transdisciplinary. In fact, if you come to my school and say, what are you doing today in physics? They have absolutely no idea how to answer you, but they are doing force, they are doing motion, they are doing, they're measuring light and sound and everything related to physics they're already doing. It's just that they might not know that I am being assessed for physics. That's all it is. And so by creating this atmosphere where you are solving a problem, first of all, we have empowered the child. We are respecting what they are bringing to the table. We are saying, yes, your voice matters. You can say what you want. We will listen to you. Second of all, they have a choice. Now, she spoke about how, again, critical thinking, collaboration, creativity are all buzzwords, right? How do you make it a reality in a classroom where there are desks, where students are seated in that same place for 8 hours in a day? How do you even make that happen? By creating this space, what we have done is now, if they have to choose, do I go with plan A or plan B? Imagine what's possible. Is that even doable? And that's where critical thinking comes in. In order to make that possible, who are the others I can have in my team and make sure that the solution is possible? And they're doing collaboration, creativity, teamwork, you name it, it comes in. The only change that we have made, and this is something that I get quite a lot, that where do you find the time in the day to do all of this and meet the board requirements? We do it because it's transdisciplinary. Because our facilitators, though it's a science facilitator, math facilitator, social sciences facilitator, they sit together and they plan. So I don't need a separate period for social sciences and a separate one for science. Both are happening together. That gives me the whole year to make this possible. And by ensuring that students are given choice and voice, they learn that they are responsible. So the agency comes in. They know that they are responsible for their learning. So every learner is equipped and respected in order to make that change. And we believe that they will make that change. I think that's the bigger way.
Amazing. Thank you for, see, the onus of learning is shifting from the teachers to the learners. I think that's the much required change. Thank you, Preeti. My next question is for Dr. Vijay Saraswati. She is, I would call her the punch lady. She has so many quotes, inspiring quotes. She has even authored a book with 1,000 odd quotes. And then she's working on SDG 4 and SDG 4, goal 17, 4 and 17. 4 we know, quality education. 17 is very interesting. I think she will share about that. Now, it's very easy to kind of, talk about various things. But then, how have you been able to successfully maneuver through the challenges? And you've become the first generation entrepreneur with a never say die attitude. Because many of us ladies, however talented we are, entrepreneurship is something that actually keeps us away. So that risk taker, please share with us. You are the pro vice chancellor of a university, but an entrepreneur. We would like to listen to that aspect of your life.
Thank you. It's a beautiful question. So today I'm a pro vice chancellor. But 20 years ago, I started as a lecturer. Lecturer in the college where I studied, I taught. Ma'am said I am the first entrepreneur. My mom was an entrepreneur. She was selling saris, Lakshmi Silks. She was an intermediary to put us in convent school and for us to speak English. Because they come from a very great family and then they lost all the wealth because suddenly after my grandmother's death, my grandfather took to race, casino, we call, right? So suddenly from here, we came here. So all of them said, okay, you guys sold the house, you guys did everything, remove the children from the convent and put in government school because you don't have the source. My mother said, no, this I'm not going to do. I came from a small village to Bangalore to ensure that my children speak English. So this I'm not going to do. I will sell pickles, I'll sell silk saris, I'll sell milk, I'll be a PLS agent. But she didn't know she was an entrepreneur. She only ensured that we learned English. So for English, what she will do, she will send us to the church on Sunday. And we will stand there, they will say, you're Hindus, no? I'm a Pillai, Vijay Saraswati Pillai, we speak Tamil. So they'll say, you're a Hindu, no? Why are you sending your children to church? Do you want to convert them, baptism, wine, all that? She'll say nothing. They have to stand, they have to support you, give pencils, give things, and she has to listen to the sermon. So I was doing this all my life. When we come back, if we speak in Tamil, she used to hit black and blue. We have to speak in English because she doesn't know. So we used to help her in accounts, we used to help her how much sari they gave, loan, which person she gave it on loan and all that. So we became equipped. Even though we came from here to here, my mother told, you guys can become great only through education. People can snatch your wealth, your materialistic possessions, but nobody can take education from you. Education is the key to success. And being a daughter, it's very important. If you want to live a class life, wealth cannot do that. Only health and your education can bring you richness. You should love cash. You should do a lot of arigato. You have to do a lot of exchange of money. So if you love cash, if you love transaction, you will become a great entrepreneur. So I think I'm the second entrepreneur. I own 11, different units of Godwin Academy, Women of Substance. I start everything and I fail. I feel good about failing. So I started my daughter young. I have only one daughter, and I married according to my choice. So I married a Muslim, Abdul Alim Muhammad Ashraf. 4 names, but my one and only husband for the last 25 years. We fell in love in 94. This is 2004. 4 is over. 30 years of courtship. You know how a joint family is. I was in a Muslim joint family for 20 years. Completely, completely in a community where they say girls' education is just for reason. And then you have to get married and wash vessels. So this is the same community I come from. My mother's community, you study 10th standard, you get married to someone, wash vessels, whether you passed SLC or not doesn't matter. But my mom was the change. Her name is Lakshmi and my name is Vijaya, and people call me Vijaya Lakshmi instead of Vijaya Saraswati. My mother kept my name Saraswati because education is the key. And I was born by chance, not by choice. So, my mother used to say, Mother Teresa used to tell, when she was asked, somebody asked her in the bus in Calcutta, are you a foreigner? She said, son, you are an Indian by chance, but I am an Indian by choice. Fate or free will. So I want to live my life by free will, my own terms and conditions. So today is the first day for the rest of my life. So imagine my daughter. So we live in a joint family, again close setup. How do I bring her up? So when COVID came, I asked her, what do you want to become? She is in 4th standard. She said, I want to become a dermatologist. I said, okay, great. I will write for Seed Capital. You know Rusa 2.0. It is in Bharatidasan University. I applied for them. They called for the this one and they asked her, what do you want to become? She said, I want to become a dermatologist. So the entire project they saw and they said, you're very young, I can't give you this project. You should at least be in 8th standard and then we could have supported. I'm so sorry and all that stuff. I asked how much is the TD, 2 doctorates, now studying diploma in counselling in Australian Institute of Professional Counselling. They said, mentally challenged. Something is wrong with her head. I should blame that fellow who married and made her study. He makes her do, he keeps telling me, my husband keeps telling me, do what makes you happy. People don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm all over the place, they think. I'm happy. I want to be happy. The purpose of my life is to be happy. You know, Bhutan, such a small country, they are listing the top in happiness. And what are we doing?
Jim, I'll have to interrupt you.
Sure,
I'm extremely sorry. It's so inspiring.
Yeah,
Kindly
no worries.
excuse
No worries.
me for this.
So,
Please come back.
entrepreneur means you should be ready for failures.
Yes.
From dermatologist to boxer, from boxer to pilot, she has come now. So I'm giving her a pilot training. In
Talk to the mother. I hope someday we will have your daughter on a stage like this where
No, she's
she will
already
talk.
in. She's
No, see what
300
I can
people
see
she's
from this
addressing.
is, see if we look at the message that Dr. Vijay is giving, a mother can do anything, change the world. You know what you are here is, you know, thanks to your mother.
I just
And,
want
yeah.
to add one thing.
Yeah.
The teacher called her. I called Papa. I was in Australia. So they called her for a complaint. So what the complaint was, she is taking book from all the people in the library. Whoever is not taking, she is taking from them and she is collecting the books. What is she doing with the books? She is going to a new school now, Purna Prajna. So the teacher got scared. What is she doing with the books? Then our father had to explain, her mother reads books, so she also reads books. Now she is having the Harry Potter series. So if you read, your children will read. If you look into the mobile, your children will look into the mobile. Because children don't practice what they say. Knowing is not doing. Doing only is doing. Okay? So if you read the book, the child will also read the book. So I would like to end by saying, be the example, be the change you want to see in the world. Because if you train a child to fish, it will learn fishing. If you give it the fish, it will eat it and forget it. And we will have that kind of generation what ma'am started with, that we will have 21st century people who without wisdom. So failure is the stepping stone for success. Go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vidya. Really appreciate that. And my next question is for Ma'am Manjula. With students having a wide angle access to knowledge in the classrooms today, they come with a lot of information. Teacher is working very hard, but then, we can't let go of that privilege of teaching. Because everybody is saying make it a student-centered classroom, from a teacher-centered. Ma'am is doing that, she's been able to do that in many of her schools previously also. Now, can you quickly give us some of those tips to move a classroom from a teacher-centered to a learner-centered classroom?
Thank you so much. And after all the inspirational and very, very unique stories, mine is pretty cliche. So the question, Actually, she'd forgotten me the question. It was at the end of it, yeah. I would just tell you one thing is the children have only information. They do not have knowledge. So it's the teacher who will make all the difference. And I have always believed, despite having a lot of silos in my schools also, I mean my 40 years of being head of school, there are some teachers who will break that barrier and reach out to people. And as ma'am just said, that if you are that leader who comes to that level of maybe the support staff and the teachers and the children, you're able to give that empowerment to every teacher to excel in whatever they are doing, and nothing is wrong, whatever they practice. So when children come and they are cheeky, last few years they are being cheeky, especially with those nervous new teachers, they'll come with some questions and some information, and they'll nudge each other. So it's about how confident you are, how competent you are in that subject. So I want to reiterate that they just have information. They don't have knowledge. So if a teacher is able to convince, yes, oh, that's wonderful, come, let's share it with the class. And she adds on her knowledge. That was information. There would be, targets and what happened in the US or in UK or whatever. So that's one way that a teacher kind of captures the students. So it's the competency. So every teacher has to be a reader. I mean, you can't just think that what we learned in our B.Ed or what we learned in our M.A. thousands of years back. We are all fossiled then. We are fossiled. And that's why, some teachers who do not want to upgrade and read, the children, oh God, we don't want to go to that maths class, and they'll just buzz off, and then there is a discipline issue and all that. So you have to be competent. You have to be a lifelong learner, though it sounds so cliched. But I think as a teacher, we've taken a profession which has its hazards of having young children questioning you every year, and they grow by their knowledge and their cheekiness 10 years. What the children were last year, they're very different today. They ask you lots of questions. So one is the competency. The second is the compassion in the class. There will be some of them who are cheeky, who will come prepared with questions, with information to check your knowledge. But you have that compassion to the child. It's after all a child. You are the teacher. So just accept that, hey, he wants to test my knowledge, so it doesn't matter. Today I want to learn from him. So let's have you besides me and let's co-teach. So when a teacher co-teaches with that cheeky little fellow or girl, it becomes so much easier. And then that quietens down. Then I'll just give you a last one. I know that we are, yeah, just the last one. The second is the classroom, how the dynamics of the classroom, like I had one of our panelists speaking about sitting like regimentation. I come from the army, so I know about regimentation. We are just in those files and lines, and so we have to get out of that. We have to just get out of that, make the dynamics of the class, co-creating, co-learning, and a happy place. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I know it's not fair, but since we are running short of time, we've been asked to kind of summarize. I don't think we need to summarize. Each one of you will be able to kind of not summarize, but reflect on what we are doing. It's very important. First of all, I would like to thank each one of the ladies here. Oh, Usha, sorry, Madhya. Sorry. Usha.
Happy Women's Day to everybody here in this room and on the panel. And it's always like last but not the least. Alright? So it's like an entrepreneurial journey, as she was talking about. It's the entrepreneurial bug has always been there in me, and I always was thinking of becoming an entrepreneur. Way back in 2012, started the Bangalore school, and after that, I visited plenty of schools abroad. The Green School in Bali, Indonesia, and was very impressed with the way the sustainable schools have been doing abroad and how the children are learning in the real life situation. And I was always wondering why can't I make a bamboo school in Bangalore? And then I did a lot of research, I spoke to a lot of people, and I came up with the concept of zero energy, zero waste, and zero carbon school. And there's the first kind of a school which we have come up with, the Green School Bangalore. It's just not the green, but it's way beyond the green concept, because we teach the concepts and the skills through sustainable development goals. Because UNESCO was talking at that point of time about achieving 17 goals by 2030. So we thought, if we're just going to make a school, it's going to be experiential center, it's going to be a sustainable school, it has to be talking and walking sustainability. And that's what you can see in our school, because we haven't used anywhere the cement, and even what are sustainable materials, what we used, our children talk about it, whether it's a hydroponic farm, whether they're learning about agroeconomics, or whether they're learning about financial economics, or interning in the school, in the cafeteria. And that's what I think NEP is talking about now. So I'm glad that we started the concepts and skills so many years back. But then, NEP is saying you take an internship after the grade 12, and I think we're giving internship to grade 6 as well. And our children are making chatbots within the classrooms. And so we can see that this entrepreneurial bug happening in our children as well. And we've started something called Young Entrepreneur Program in our school. And children are developing things, and we're giving them the ownership of that. And we're also telling them, yes, you can make money out of that. And that's the same thing we're talking about, the carbon emission, the lessening the carbon emission projects. We're talking about, lessening the carbon footprints. And that's what my children, again, are converting that into carbon credits. We're talking to companies, and we're telling them to buy the carbon credits. I think we're the first of the kind who are again going to get that carbon credits, converted into money, and children will be benefiting out of it. So these are things which we can use as eco-friendly practices with children, because talking about sustainability is not just being a sustainable school and being number one sustainable school and achieving all the 17 goals, but we need to make a curriculum like that. So the pedagogy matters a lot, and that's where we have developed our own pedagogy, where we have embedded the 17 goals in the curriculum, and children are practicing that. And so we talk about equity, equality, we talk about quality education, we're just talking about it. My children are implementing it. So that is the difference, what they're making. And of course, the social impact projects, what they're doing. So these all matters a lot, because we take community at large with you. And that's why Niti Aayog came forward, and they gave us a free transformer, which was again a big pat on back of ours, because when we're doing something great, then of course government supports us. But government will not give you free solar panels, which you're fighting for it still now. Our school is zero energy, we have got solar panels, but they're not giving that. But right now I'm talking about Schneider Electric and say, hey look, can you do something for us, and can we conserve a campus through you, and we partner with you. So there are a lot of things which we can do with corporates, with the government, and with the community at large, and I think we achieved so well that this community, with the parents, with teachers, with children, with all the stakeholders, I think we have come with a green concept, and we have become the number 2 in global ranking in the United Nations General Assembly, and we are number 2 globally as a green school. And so we have to have the green curriculum as well in place, so we are doing that as well. So thank you so much. I think this entrepreneurial bug has become so much that we are totally involved as passionate educators, the entire school, and we're trying to, achieve that. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, all of you.
Amazing, ma'am. Thank you so much. And you were so quick. Within 3 minutes, you really, gave a lot of it. Yeah.
I think we should keep up the time.
Yeah,
as
thank you.
educators.
And I would definitely request all of you to connect with these ladies during lunch, because they have so much more, and I'm feeling guilty that we're not able to give them time. And I would not like to summarize. I would like to leave all of us with a question. Those children, the question is, the burglars, the dacoits, the rapists, all those we call social evil or elements that are disturbing the society. Were they born as bad children? When they were born, they were like any one of us. What made them become what they've become today? Is it somewhere, a lack of responsibility from the side of parents and teachers, who are the only ones who can touch these lives? So I think we have a very, very big role to play in the society. As educators, as women, we are